When I mention zombies, you most likely think of like green dead people that rise from graves to eat brains, right? That's what zombies are, right? Wrong! You couldn't be more wrong. No. Through the course of this video, I will explain how I think zombies would actually be like. First of all, they wouldn't be green because dead people don't just go green when they rot. I mean, it depends on what's rotting it, I guess, but I'm pretty sure most of the time you would go like a pale white colour. Secondly, they wouldn't rise from the grave because my definition of what makes someone a zombie wouldn't have nearly enough strength to break through a thick wooden coffin enough to clamber through. And even then, there would still be like a 6 foot or 1.8ish meters of dirt above them. Have you ever punched through like a 2-inch piece of wood with 6 feet of dirt above it when you can barely raise your arm up in the first place? I think the hell not. So how can you expect a thin little frail dead guy to do it, huh? If he's been dead for at least like 5 months or so, then it could just be a straight up skeleton, and then that's definitely not happening. And thirdly, probably the biggest myth of how zombies work is the brain eating part. Look, zombies don't eat brains, at least not my version, which I'll tell you about later. Like, why would they eat brains? What would make them want to do that? Just why? Right, so now that we've covered how they wouldn't work, let me tell you how they would actually work. First, let's cover how it would start. There's this fungus called Ophiocordyceps unilateralis, and what it does is, if it lands on like a dead ant, then it will latch onto it and use it to literally control the ant to climb up a tree. Then it will use this elevation to spread spores far and wide, thus giving them the name zombie ants. I will be using this as the basis for my zombie theory. So it would probably be a small parasite or fungus that would enter your bloodstream somehow, and then use your veins to travel to your brain. Then it would latch onto your brain and use it to control you, and then next they would actively seek out other people to turn into zombies. For the next part of my theory, I need an example. So I'm going to be using The Last Train to Busan because they have the most accurate zombies in any film that I know of. In The Last Train to Busan, the action kind of starts with a girl who's slowly walking through the train carriages. She's very pale and has a limp, looking good so far. Then she enters a sectioned off bit of one of the carriages and falls over and starts shaking. This all makes sense so far. Then she turns into a zombie, bites someone on the neck, who immediately turns into a zombie. That doesn't make sense. Why did it take so long for her, but seconds for the other person? Damn, that's bad film writing. No, dumb, stupid. All of this makes perfect sense. Know why? Know why? Because of where they were bitten. Something I didn't mention is that the girl was bitten on the leg, but the other person was bitten on the neck. It makes sense that being bitten on the leg would take longer because the leg is like the furthest away point on your body to your brain, so it would take a while for the parasite or whatever to get to your brain. Whereas your neck has the internal jugular vein that literally leads directly to your brain. Even the whole biting part is reasonable because your skin is naturally good at blocking diseases. So something trying to infect you could just bite you to get their saliva, and thus the parasite, into your bloodstream. Now you might be thinking, oh man, I hope this doesn't happen in real life. We would all die. Get a load of this guy, what a fool. Doesn't he know how easy it would be to survive a zombie apocalypse? For this, I'm going to assume that the virus, parasite, fungus, whatever, can stop rigor mortis. Because if it couldn't, then all the zombies would be useless after like 1 or 2 days. Anyway, all you would have to do is stay inside for like 1 to 2 weeks, and by then, all of their teeth and nails will have fallen out, so there's no easy way for them to cut you. Even if that's not the case, just leave the house with one of those like thick, puffy coats and then you're probably good. But, for example, you've run out of food and have to go get some, and on the way a zombie approaches you. What do? It's really simple, just push them over. What are they going to do, get up? I don't think a little piece of nothing controlling a human would have the motor skills to get up very quickly. But if you want to be super careful, then you could just bring like a big stick, I guess. Doesn't even have to be a big one. Heck, a walking stick would probably work fine. You see a zombie walking close by, just nudge it over, easy. I don't think it could easily crawl after you either. I mean, have you tried crawling? I can barely crawl like 5 meters before being exhausted. So in conclusion, zombies don't eat brains. Why would they